In this video, I want to compare and contrast AR and XR glasses versus VR goggles, more specifically Meta Quest 3. Before I get started into the video, I want to quickly give an update about this device right here, which is the in-ear pod device that I made a video on. Now, people are asking me about the compatibility to other glasses, and this is something that I actually plan on making a video for. But in-ear, the company actually reached out to me after I made that one video, and they told me that they're gonna have a software update coming in on the 20th of this month, and they asked me if I can hold off on making a video until that software comes out. And that software is supposed to change or increase the compatibility of this device to other glasses. Now, I could have said no, considering I bought this device with my own money, but I said yes, I will hold off until that software come out. That way, when I make a video, you guys can know exactly if you should be getting this device for your glasses, which is not in-ear. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about form factor, entertainment, gaming, productivity, convenience, and price. Starting with the form factor. As you guys can see, these look completely different. This is more of a glasses style entertainment device, and this is obviously a virtual reality headset. Now, the weight difference is significantly different, and it can impact making your decision. With this, you have the convenience of just easily putting it on. Very lightweight. You can walk around, you can do things around, you can see your peripherals very clearly, and you can just do so much with this. As far as convenience, you can easily travel with this. You can fold it up, hang it around your neck, or put it in your pocket. Just very, very easy. But downside is you don't get a full immersion. Now, if you happen to have a 3D printer, you can actually print out one of these, which is a thing that I designed, an STL file. You can print it and attach it to it. And if you're talking about the extra one, this will give you a better immersion. Now, compared to the VR goggles, it is pretty heavy. Obviously, I have an aftermarket headset to it, but you don't have to use this. You can use something else. The benefit of this is actually, even though it is heavier, this part right here has as a second battery, and it counterweights the headset so that all the weight is not on your head. And because it's battery powered, this gives you extra battery life. The device itself only lasts 2 hours. Now, with this, it's not as convenient, it's not as portable, but you get an incredible immersive experience. The field of view is much, much wider than what you get on the glasses, and you're able to do things like full immersion when it comes to movie watching and stuff like that. So as you guys can see, when it comes to these two form factors, you're either taking convenience, portability, or you're taking lack of convenience, but you're taking more immersion. So personally, when it comes to form factor, I prefer this form factor because it's just easier to carry around and do things. But when I'm home and want to do certain VR, then this will be the device. The next thing is entertainment. So obviously you can watch movies with these two devices, but your experience is going to be vastly different. Because with this, it's very light, but your field of view is much more narrow, and you don't get a full immersion. You can't put yourself in a different movie theater. It doesn't feel like you're in an actual movie theater. It just feels like you're watching a TV, a big TV, through a window. That's what it feels more like. Whereas this one, it feels more like you're in a movie theater, but you're still watching it through somewhat of a window, but a much bigger window, because the field of view is still not as optimal as I would want it to be, but you get a much better immersion with this when it comes to movie. You can be in your living room watching a movie as if you're in an IMAX theater, or watching a movie as if you're at the beach, watching a movie as if you are somewhere farther from where you are, and you will feel like you are absolutely there. And then there's also the cool factor of being able to use apps like big screen to actually watch movies with other people that have the headsets. Another thing with this device when it comes to entertainment is it can be a complete standalone system, which means that you can load your movies directly onto this device. You can browse apps and app stores and all that stuff directly on this device, so you don't need the extra device, which makes it really great because you can just, I have the 512 version, so I can load a bunch of movies. I can download movies to watch offline. So you can also have your games downloaded, that way you don't need your computer or any form of mobile. This thing can be a complete standalone system. With this device right here, it needs some form of connectivity, so you either need to connect it to a phone or its companion device, which is called the Beam Pro, or a PC or Nintendo Switch, or just you need to plug it into something to actually make use of this device right here. So it's not a standalone system, but on the positive side of it, you don't have to worry about battery life because there is no battery to worry about. When it comes to gaming, right, you can plug this. It has a USB-C that you can plug into any USB-C capable device, and you basically get anything you see on your screen. Great. But with this device, you get full immersion when it comes to, most specifically, VR games. If it's 2D games, then yeah, you're better off just using this, honestly. But when it comes to 3D immersive games, nothing compares to a VR goggles. This makes you feel like you are actually there. There are certain games that makes perfect use of the mixed reality feature, using the cameras on board and all the sensors. So for when it comes to PC VR games or VR games that just fully immerses you, this absolutely takes the cake. But the thing is, you're not able to easily connect this device to other devices like this, for example, your phone, your Nintendo Switch, Steam Decks, and things like that. Even your PC, you can't easily do it. Obviously, you can get the link cable and use it, but it's just a bit more work. Whereas with this one, you can just easily plug it in. And with glasses like the Extra One, you have native 3 DOF, so you will get everything absolutely with basically zero latency just by plugging this into the device. So when it comes to gaming, it really comes down to the type of game that you do. I personally don't really game, but when I do game, this hands down. Like I said, I recently bought this and I started playing a few virtual reality games, and man, I am absolutely in love. There is nothing like gaming with a VR headset on, just nothing. With this, it's just more like having a TV. It's great, but this makes you feel like you are actually there. So for gaming, this takes the cake, in my opinion. Productivity. Now, my arm is actually getting fatigued just from holding this because it's so heavy. So I'm gonna put it down. When it comes to productivity though, these two devices handle productivity very differently. The main reason why I've been carrying the Extra One in comparison to other glasses is because the Extra One right now on the market is the only device that has native 3 DOF. Extra has the benefit of native 3 DOF and built-in ultra-wide display, and you have two versions of ultra-wide display. You have your normal 21:9 ultra-wide, and you have the super ultra-wide 32:9 display. So you can choose between the two. There is zero lag because the cable is connected directly into your PC. Now the downside is you don't get 3 independent or 2 independent windows. You can get 1, but you don't get 2 or 3 independent windows. With the VR goggles, productivity has been so much better than it was when I first tried VR, or even as of a year ago. Productivity is so much better now because you have remote desktop, you have virtual desktop, you have immersed. All this software helps you get productivity done. And the beautiful thing about this is you can have multiple windows displayed in your virtual surroundings. You can have it in different places, and you can actually immerse yourself into a different environment. For example, since the time that I've been testing or using these glasses for productivity, I've liked to be in a completely different environment that just makes me less sleepy, because whenever you're in a place that's dark, you tend to get a bit more sleepy, which is what happens when I'm using these glasses in a dark environment. Yes, the display is very good, but it is actually it can be fatiguing in the sense that it is dark, so I tend to get sleepy quicker. Whereas with this, you can just be in a completely different environment. But despite that, I still prefer using this for productivity. First of all, the pixel density for this, even though it has lower resolution, is actually about the same as a Vision Pro. So which means the quality that you're gonna get in the pixels, it's equivalent to what you get in a Vision Pro. I have tried a Vision Pro and it's incredible as far as displays. So yes, you don't have all those virtual environments. You're not able to have multiple windows. Yes, the field of view is smaller, but the quality is actually gonna be better than what you get on this. And then on top of that, with this one, because you're gonna be streaming through Wi-Fi, when it comes to like things like YouTube videos, sending emails, typing up documents, it's perfectly fine. But when it comes to things like editing audio or editing videos, I find that there's always this tiny little bit of lag, and the slightest amount of lag just changes the experience. It's so small, but when it comes to editing videos and audio where you need the precise, when you press pause, you need it to be precise. It's kind of frustrating with this. So I always prefer to use this when it comes to productivity, in my case, which involves video editing and things like that. So for me personally though, I would pick this for productivity. But you know, there are some people that have complained about that field of view, and there are some people that complain about the clarity. I don't have any of those issues. So for me, I choose this for productivity. Glasses like this are kind of pretty expensive. For example, this is the X-Real one, which is a $500 device, $499, so $500. And then you have something like the Raynios, which is on the cheaper end of the glasses, which is about $250. The MetaQuest starts at $500, but realistically, by the time you get an extra battery or straps, you're gonna be around $600-700, because I haven't found anybody who felt like the strap that came along with it was actually comfortable. So most people immediately switch it up, and most people actually buy a separate battery. So by the time you add it up, you're gonna be in around $600-700 range. Now, alternatively, you can get the Quest 3S. So yes, as far as the price wise, I feel like they are pretty comparable. It's not really a factor. If this is what you want, then you pay for it. If that's what you want, then you pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Overall though, who are these devices for? I'd say this is for someone who does a lot of PC VR games, somebody who basically does a lot of gaming and likes the immersion, but doesn't really go to places, typically stays home. This is more so for someone who moves around a lot, either at your house or you go to places a lot. You like to do productivity, you play 2D games, occasionally you watch 3D movies. This will be the perfect device for someone like that. Which one should you get? Well, it comes down to what your preference is. Personally, I feel like you should get both if you can afford it. Here is the reason why. Once you try VR, it's not just gaming. Once you try VR, there's just nothing like it. Now, it can get kind of old once you try it and a couple times, and some people get motion sickness. So this might get old pretty fast, but I do think that if you can afford it, you should get it. This is more of like an everyday device that you're always gonna have a need or find a use for this device right here. But if you feel like you like to have yourself completely immersed, then this may not be the one for you. Even though I said you can also print something like this, use it for to block your peripherals, still it may not give you that full immersion. So this might be better off for you. So this has been my comparison between the two devices. Let me know if you guys can think of any other things that I didn't mention, so pros and cons of each devices that I forgot to mention, or some things that you realize over the time using this. I feel like you should not judge either one of them though until you've tried it, because like I said, when I tried this, I ended up loving it a whole lot more than I thought I would, because yeah, I'm so in love right now that I'm mad at myself for not buying it sooner. But despite that though, I still pick this one in most cases.